A wonderful day and welcome. My name is Seth and we are back with another weapon guide for Monster Hunter Frontier. Today featuring not a cut weapon, but something on the impact side. Brrrtatum, the hammer. Going full Unga Boonga today. We're gonna take a look at the first impact weapon on Monster Hunter Frontier. For everyone who doesn't know, the game has different damage types, and that includes cut damage, impact damage, or fixed or bomb damage, etc. We're gonna take a look at the first impact pure weapon, which is the hammer. And for that, we're obviously gonna go on the quest and check out the Earth style first. Alright, now we're here in the George area, and the base camp is a bit windy, so let me move to the next area for a bit like less noise in the background. Oh yeah, much better. It's a very rocky, windy area, as you noticed. And yeah, we're gonna take a look at the hammer, of course. The hammer is a slow, kind of like the greatsword, impact weapon, which means impact damage happens when you attack the monster on the head. If you attack monsters on the head with the impact damage, then you build up a stun meter for the monster. If you build it up completely, then the monster will be knocked out and widely open for some serious DPS. Impact damage also has other applications, like breaking certain body parts on certain monsters faster. For example, Akura Vashimo has crystals on his body, and these crystals can be broken way faster with impact damage than using other weapons. So if you want something heavy hitting that knocks out the lights of the monsters and lets you pummel them into submission, the hammer is the weapon for you. Alright, before we start with the movesets now, let me explain what you see on the screen for everyone who only watches this specific video and don't watch the other ones. On the right side of the screen you will see two controller layouts, one for Xbox One and one for PS4. These are there for visualization of my inputs. They mimic my inputs in real time and you can see it on the screen when I'm pressing. When I'm pressing it, I obviously say what I'm doing and how to trigger certain things, but I will have this on screen for people who maybe have problems understanding me talking or anything, and then can see what I'm actually pressing to see what is going on. For keyboard and mouse users, you simply just need to translate whatever I'm pressing on the controller back to the keyboard setup you have, and like the whatever button is the dodge button on the keyboard for you, just take that, translate whatever it is there, and then you can do the exact same thing or copy it. Also, for not spamming all the time, Y and triangle button and B and circle button for every move I'm explaining, I will refer to the Y and triangle button to the main attack button and the B and circle button to the side attack button. These buttons are the most used ones usually, or like a variety of moves. So it's easier to just name them like this and not like going completely confusing, naming every time like 4 buttons. The other buttons are like usually more coherent, so we don't need to rename those like specifically. But let's start with the moveset, and obviously we're gonna go with the first one, that is the main attack button. On the hammer, that is very simply just 3 times in the row you can press the main attack button to do a 3-hit upswing combo. This does a lot of impact damage and hits the monster hard. It's probably your most bread and butter combo you're gonna use. And if you use this while unsheathed, you do immediately an upswing when pressing the main attack button. Then if you press the side attack button, you do a very quick smash in front of you. It's like very quick, obviously also does impact damage. And it's just a very quick way to get some impact damage in and use it in between combos. So now we come to a specialty here. The hammer doesn't have a specific main and side attack button combo like the other weapons had so far. That is because the hammer works with a charge mechanic mainly. The hammer has the ability to charge up its attacks, and depending on what charge level or like how long you charge it, you have different options to do different attacks. That is the main staple of the hammer pretty much. So how do you initial a charge, you ask? Well, that is simply enough with R1. You go into the charge stance and then can charge up that move for several seconds. This costs stamina as long as you're charging up, and you can charge as long as your stamina runs out. You can also move while doing this, so this one is the uniqueness of this weapon, that you can move while charging up bigger attacks to release them. And you have different options depending on the charge. The charge has usually 3 levels. You can see this on the sound cue. Like the last 2 flashes there are the level 2 and 3, and before the first flash comes, this one, you have level 1 pretty much. So first we're gonna check out the charge attacks itself and the options we have. So if we just do a charge on level 1, we will just do a forward smash, pretty simple. Forward swing, nothing special. Just to move like a little bit forward and engaging the combat out of the charge. Then on level 2 we can do a double swing. Pretty simple, just a swing with an additional one as before. And then on the third charge, it changes depending what you do. So on the last charge, if you just stand still and do nothing and then release the button, you do a massive ground damage. This does a lot of damage and does a lot of impact damage. So this is a very good tool to get in some stand value in there to knock out the monster. But if you now charge up to that level and then move while doing this, you're gonna release a spinning move. This is a multi-hit move and does every time impact damage, of course, and damage itself. So very good for if you have the right position to get in quickly a lot of impact damage. Because how it works is that the stun value like cranks up every time you hit the monster with impact damage, but if you don't attack it for a while with impact damage on the head, this will decrease over time. So you need to make sure that you get enough impact damage over time in to build up the value enough to knock it out. That's why the spinning move is really well. Also, when you're charging, you don't need to essentially release the button to do the attacks. You can also just press the main attack button and you will do the same thing. Then you can do on the side attack button when you charge, do this little upswing forward, this like very fast one, and then just do some quick damage in there, impact damage. When you see, oh, the monster's like turning around and about to charge or something, well, you just go in there and then do this quick upswing and then just get out of there with a roll or something. It's really good to still get some impact damage in while just safely get out of there without being locked in some long animations. You can do this from any charge level. So if I'm level 3, it still does this upswing, or level 2. Then we have some extra options in the individual charge attack levels. On the first level there's nothing special to it. We can just do the normal swing and then chain it with like a side attack swing if we want to. But on level 2 now it gets interesting. We can do the double swing and then pressing the main combo will do a massive ground smash, which is very quick and does a lot of impact damage and damage itself, right? So this is like really good to quickly just smash the hammer forward and get some good impact damage in there. Then on the level 2 charge, if you press the side attack button instead of the main attack button, you will do a baseball swing move. This is a very long animation and does a lot of impact damage. It's like equivalent to a level 2 charge on the greatsword. So it has like something with 100 motion value or something. I'm not sure exactly on the numbers, but this thing does a lot of damage with the addition, of course, that it has impact on top of it. So if you hit this on the head, you will get some really good value for damage and impact at the same time. And you can charge this up, which doesn't do more damage. It's mostly just to get the right positioning or timing in, because the monster can be maybe facing not in your direction and it turns around any second now, so you can like kind of buffer this move and then release it. It will auto release after a few seconds, but you can still like hold the button down, the side attack button, to just release it on your own accord. So you can time this a bit if the monster is like turning around or something to try to hit the head instead. Very neat, one of my favorite moves. A bit slow, need to get used to that, but it's very fun to use. And then we have one more thing, that is level 3 charge. And when you do the spinning, the Beyblade charge, you can, after 3 swings, you can press the main attack button again to do a massive upswing. This also hits a lot of impact damage and like hits the monster hard, so you want to probably use this a lot. And it's a good move to just finish up the spin without being stuck in this animation, right? One more thing is, if you charge your charge up and then dodge roll, the charge will be interrupted and removed. So you need to start charging again. Keep this in mind if you like need to dodge and you're wondering, wait, what? I wanted to do an attack and nothing happened. Well, your charge is getting interrupted. Also, the charge plays a big role in the moveset of the hammer, so you can chain certain attacks and make stuff like infinite combos. For example, you can do the level 1 swing, then a side attack, then go back to the charge. You can do the double charge, the smash, and then go into another charge directly and just keep the flow of combat a bit going, and then just get the benefit of the knockout, the stun value, which will help a lot because the openings with stunning a monster are pretty huge usually. They work the same as like status elements, so they will have a higher stun resistance afterwards, after the first knockout. But if you can hit this constantly and then have skills that buff the stun value increase, you will have some really good time if you knock out the monster a few times in the quest. Especially multiplayer, you will benefit a lot from this because you have big openings to do a lot of damage. Hitting like body parts that are usually not really accessible, like wings will be on the ground, tails will be on the ground, etc. Which is really good. And this concludes already the Earth style of the hammer, and we're gonna switch over to Heaven style and see what's up there. Okay, back with Heaven style, and I need to apologize. Two things. First of all, if my voice is getting degrading a little bit, that is because was smart enough to say, hey, we should do like 3 weapon guide recording today, or 4. Why, that's a good idea, right? Well, you will hear this probably in my voice tomorrow at stream, but goddamn, that was a bad idea. I apologize if my voice quality is a bit down, and yeah. Also the second one, I've obviously forgot the best part about the weapon, and that is you can launch your teammates into air if you do the upswing. That is very important because, well, it doesn't have any mechanical advantages like at Monster Hunter World, for example, where you can launch up your teammates and they can do like an air smash attack, right? The fold attack from Dark Souls. No, it's just pure for having fun. And that is very important, having fun in video games. Heaven style does one thing, replacing the swing combo in level 3 with an infinite, swing motion combo instead. So, yes, you can see when you move and normally want to do the spin attack, you can't. But if you press the main attack button constantly, you will do this swing motion, which is stationary other than the swing combo, the spinning combo, but does the same effect than the spinning, just stationary. But on top of that is that the swipes or the like left and right swings are stronger than the spins actually. So they're a really good tool if you can master this, because the animations are obviously a bit slow and they don't move you, so you need some really good positioning and timing on this. But you can do a lot of impact damage and damage while doing this move when the monster is in the right setting, right? In the right position. As like comparison, like when you do the spin attack, each spin after the initial spin has like something with like 10 motion value, and each swipe after the initial one has something like 45 motion value. So that is a very much more increase than the spinning move, but also the only change the Heaven style does to the hammer. So I guess this is more like a preference if you want the spinning attack or this like stationary swing. You need to decide what is better for you. And we can move on to Storm style. Well, we are back with Storm style, and if you remember correctly when you saw the beginning of the weapon guide, my SNS one, you remember that I said, well, some styles are like straight up an upgrade to their previous styles. This style is one of these cases. The Storm style has everything the Heaven style has with one addition, and that is a level 4 charge. And this level 4 charge has only one attack, but other than that, it's the exact same thing as Heaven style. So the 4th charge is pretty special too, as you maybe remember when you saw the Greatsword video. The Greatsword video had like on Storm style like a level 4th charge too, and you needed to time that one correctly. And if you did so, you did like the best damage. Otherwise, you will do a level 2 charge damage, which, well, is not as great. This is the same case for the hammer charges. If you time the charges right on the 4th one, you will do the new attack. But if you overcharge it and take too much time, that charge will be gone. So if you overcharge it, you will just have a level 2 charge. There you see it. You saw this like little thunderbolts coming around my hand, and that was the level 4 charge. If not, you just default to the level 2 one if you take too much time. But if you hit that timing window, then you will do the new epic super jump Shoryuken smash attack. It's very funny and does a lot of damage. One of my favorite hammer attacks. Just looks wonderful. But it gets even crazier on extreme style, which we're gonna take a look now. Okay, now with the extreme style, we are back to the juicy part of the game. And extreme style is usually the promotional advertisement style where they say, yo, you need to play this weapon more because we made it super cool. And the most popular thing that you can do in extreme style with every weapon is using running while your weapon is unsheathed. Usually you can just walk or run like this, and then you can press R1 to sprint, right? But now you can sprint like this with the weapon outside, like this, which gives you a lot of opportunity to catch up with a monster, chasing it down, and you also usually get the attacks in that style too. So it is very popular because it gives you high mobility, and it's obviously also my favorite style because it just changes up this like more clunkier feeling and gives you like a more fast-paced combat without like going over the top with something like Rice did on the wirebug spam stuff. So yeah, welcome to Frontier, the best Monster Hunter. Right, to do the extreme running, you just need to simply double flick in any direction. That is what you need to do, simple as that. It costs stamina, because it counts as just sprinting with your weapon out, and depending what weapon you have, you will run slower or faster. It depends on your weapon, so if you have something like a hammer or a lance, you will run slower than someone with an SNS or dual blades, of course, which can be mitigated a little bit with movement, speed, skills, but as a general rule, don't be confused when someone with an SNS runs faster in extreme running than you do, and you lose the race. So in extreme style, the other uniqueness on the hammer is that other than the other weapons in extreme style, the extreme style in hammer form is again just a straight up upgrade to storm style, just like before. And you can use this to do everything you did before, but you have additions now. First of all, you have now a new infinite combo attack, which is very, very interesting and looks very cool. So when you press the charge button to charge your weapon but you don't move, then you do the new infinite combo swing, which is a stationary swing that charges up over time, and if you're on the max charge and then release it, you will do a variation version of the level 4 charge we got in storm style. This also is based like the damage and knockout damage you do is like based how many swings you did or hit. So this is like a very good tool to do a lot of like stun value and get the monster on its knees, because wow, it looks good. But this is not all, because we have now instead of 4 charges, 5 charges. You hear me right. 5 level charges on the hammer. But just like before, if you overcharge it, you will do just the default level 2 charge. So you want to time this right, but if you time it on the level 5 charge, you will do this very strong overhead salto move mid-air. It is also very fast and easy accessible, especially if you have something like a focus skill to get to that level way faster, and it's a very good tool to just do massive damage in a short amount of time. Also, in extreme running, you have the possibility to charge your weapon instead of doing anything new special attacks. The charging while running is like the new gimmick. So you can charge up your attacks, but obviously this costs stamina, and you will feel the stamina drain from charging and running will be way higher than just running. So keep that in mind. You need some very good stamina management skills or items to counterbalance this a bit. But then you can just fly over the battlefield with the hammer, charging it up, doing all crazy stuff in the tanks, and be a walking wrecking ball, I guess. Also, a side note, if you charge while running and then stop the running, the extreme running, the charge will also stop. But this is everything to extreme style on the hammer already, and it looks as epic as the other ones, even though it's a bit shorter. And I just love the hammer attacks. The extreme style hammer attacks we got additionally are one of my favorite moves ever, because I'm not a hammer player. I rarely play hammer, but these two moves makes me want to play hammer so badly, because it just looks cool. It gives you insane utility with the stun damage, and it just is fun as hell. But we're gonna move to the city, and the last part of the video, I'm gonna check out what's going on there. Right, back in the city, we're gonna take a look at two things, because one thing we can ignore, which is the sigil info. There's no specific sigil change for the hammer, sadly, just motion value increases as far as I know. And we're gonna take a look at active feature and the weapon tag. The active feature, you can see on the top left corner, you see the red icons for each weapon type. And if the icon is red, this means for that weapon type, the buff is active for 24-hour server hours. The active feature gives you like specific buffs for that weapon type, and it helps out with like optimizing runs, doing like struggling with the fight, and getting this like extra buffs in will help you out with some DPS or utility, etc. It's really neat, and if you struggle with something or need to optimize something, you probably want to look out to have this active feature going and then play on that days. So keep an eye for that. On the hammer, we have something very straightforward and simple, and that is just 50% more stun damage. Yeah, you have 50% more stun value. So if you combine this with other stun skills, you will have a very quick stun value upgrade, and it's really neat. But then we also have the tech skills. The tech skills are weapon type specific compound skills, combining several skills into one to give you some benefits that are tailored for each weapon depending on the tech type skill you have. They have 3 positive levels, 1 hidden one and 1 negative. The negative always gives you like 20% less damage on that weapon type, and the hidden one can we ignore, because on the melee weapons it just gives you like sharpness +1, but it needs like very specific conditions to use. Like you need to use specific equipment and be forced to use that, otherwise it doesn't work. And just for a sharpness +1 skill, that's not really worth it this times, because you usually run like mixed sets, etc., or like full sets, which have way more benefits anyway. So we're gonna ignore the hidden one and the negative one, because we don't need to mention it, and we're gonna look at the 3 positive ones. They are ranging from expert, master, to a very fancy name for each weapon type. They have all their special little like names. For the hammer, that is the blunt beast, and we're gonna go over to the expert, which is just giving you fencing skill. Where's the hammer? On the master level, you get 10% more damage and defensing skill, and on the blunt beast level, you get high grade earplugs, 20% more damage with hammers, the fencing skill you keep, and you get 30% more damage on charge attacks if you perfectly time them with the sound cue. So even on infinite attacks, so this is very interesting, because that's a lot of increase. 30% is pretty huge, and will probably benefit a lot of players when they master the timing on the charges. You see the compound skills, the tech skills are very important. That if you build like specific sets for your weapon type, then these are probably top priority 1 skills you want. There's some exceptions, but you usually want those first. And that is it for this video. This was Hammer, the little Unga Bunga bonking weapon of the Frontier series, and the first impact weapon we have. And I say thank you. I hope this helped you. I see everyone in the next video. Take care of yourself and each other. Love you all, and good night. Bye bye.